Hey people, this is Chris Lucas. It's 2 a.m. It's November 7th, 2020. And just kind of doing a random live show. Probably should add this on Facebook in case anyone's there, but I actually kind of forgot how to do that. My brain is a little fuzzy. But you know what? The one thing I do want to cover is, let me go ahead and see about sharing that screen. Because I did find what I wanted to show people earlier. There is this like Larry Gaiters thing I want to show. Just give me like maybe 2 minutes. If you're watching this on, like if you're watching this on replay, just you might want to skip ahead about a minute. I want to post this link to Facebook so everyone knows I'm doing a live show. I don't know of an easier way to do this except for after you start the show. So, please bear with me. Because I'm still kind of trying to figure out all this stuff. So that's kind of why these shows, I don't really promote them. I just do them and just to kind of see what's going to happen. And maybe I'll go post on one more page. Let me see here. I do plan on starting a church at some time. If I can find other people within the Indiana area, I'd like to start like a Sabbath keeping church in Indiana. I live in the Brownsburg area of Indiana right now. I'd like to start a church out here if I can, but I'm still trying to get used to it because like my kids got me out of the habit of going to church, and I need to get myself more disciplined into going to church. So okay, now I found this Larry Gaiters video I was looking for, and I'll put that up on the screen. By the way, anyone who stops in, plan on just talking about anything. If post something up on the screen, just let me know what you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it. But earlier, I found out who Q is, and so I'm gonna play that. Well, I won't say I found out who Q is, but I found that piece of video where Larry Gaiters says he's Q. Happens right around the 9. Well, I can't really move it to the exact spot I need it to. But it's right here at the he kind of says it at the 9:20 mark. I'll start it at like the 9:0. The 3 hour and 9 minute mark on this video, but it's about the 3 hour, 9 minute, and 20-second mark, I think is where he says it. But if you just at least can find the 3 hour and 9 minute mark, right about there is where he says he's Q. And hey, Sand Groper, appreciate you stopping by. Hey, I found this part where Larry Gaiters says he's Q, so I wanted to play that for everybody. I tried to play that in a video earlier and I couldn't find it, so I'll play that like right now.
For being with the bishop for, oh my Lord, I don't know, how long was it? 5:30, 6:30, something, 8:30, 3 hours, I don't know, 10 minutes, 3 hours, almost 10 minutes. Thank you so much for every one of you for tuning in to Operation Q Adash. And yes, I'm going to say the 17th letter. Okay. And guess what? Bishop Larry Gaiters is Q. I ain't hiding nothing from my brothers and sisters. I am Q. I've been ordained by God to protect President Trump and to protect the first Constitution, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I thank God for all of you guys.
So as you can see, right there he says it. I am Q. I have been ordained by God to protect Donald Trump. And I'm still new to this guy, Larry Gaiters. I just listened to him a couple of times because I heard he was on Jason Goodman's show. He was on some radio show a few months back, and I kind of like he kind of goes into all these different areas, and I mean he seems like he's pretty knowledgeable and everything, but like there's always things he says that makes me like have raised questions, and I really don't feel like there's I don't feel like there's a lot that he adds when I listen to him that helps me grow spiritually. But it's like, there's some knowledge he drops, and when I can't find anything else to watch, I'm like, well, I guess I'll kind of check this guy out for a minute since he seems like, he's like trending he's kind of trending high. And even if like there's nothing for me in it, I can at least maybe see what's going on, see why other people are checking them out, see what's going on spiritually with people. And it's like basically, like when I'm driving for long stretches of time, I don't like to look at my phone and try to like go through YouTube. So it's like if I don't have anything like set on that playlist, sometimes if whatever first pops up, I'll just go ahead and click on that and like listen to that. And I heard this, and someone was like, yeah, Larry Gaiters said he's Q. And so this video of his pops up, and I can see Global Masterclass Module 17 Operation Q-Adash. And I was like, I wonder if this is the video that he says Q. And so I'm playing the whole video. And I was like, whoa, he, towards the end, like I said, the 3 hour and 9 minute mark, he says, I am Q. And I was like, wow. And I'm not sure really what that means. Like, I keep seeing like this trend of like you got that Catholic bishop Vigano who recently spoke against like Pope Francis and calling him out, and everyone seems to think like there's like this, like especially Catholics. It seems like they're like believing in some kind of like war going on within the Vatican between good and evil, and to me, I think the whole Catholic Church is evil. So, and then I see Trump nominating nothing but Catholics, and then I see like this guy, Bishop Larry Gaiters, who I don't know what religion he is. I haven't watched him that long. I don't think he's a Sabbath keeper, and a Seventh-day Sabbath keeper. I don't know if he's Catholic, but I do wonder if he's ecumenical. And I kind of would wonder if he's the type that can pull someone into whatever new kind of Christianity is rising up. So I kind of wanted to play that clip of him saying he's Q. And if anyone is just joining the stream, I don't mind playing it again. If you want me to play that clip of him saying he's Q, just let me know. But I'm going to read some comments. It's shameful to see how they plug the bull crap on election, and we all knew they would. That is just how they roll. Yep. Yeah. And this guy was also like, oh, we got to vote for President Trump, and it's like, I'm not sure if the same people that catch my late night broadcast catch my earlier broadcast, but my big thing about that is I understand some people being scared of, I'm like going, oh, okay, I want to vote for the guy that's the least restricted to Christian freedom. I understand, there's no perfect people, and I'm not going to vote for Trump because I think he's an angel. Okay, I kind of get all that. But we also saw the kind of people Trump put in. He put in deep state. But not only that is it's like if you people aren't going to call him out when he is about ready to nominate him, like you're not like, hey, don't you be nominating Kavanaugh. Because a lot of these same people that are also telling me to vote Trump now were never screaming about, oh my gosh, we got to stop him from putting in Kavanaugh. They never said that. They never screamed out, oh, you got to stop him from putting in Barr. So, but they still want me to go vote Trump now. And it's like, well, why? I mean, I can understand if you're like, he's at least saying the right things, but and maybe we can try harder to make him keep his word this time. I could actually understand that, but that's not what none of these people that are saying vote Trump are saying. You know, they're not saying, oh, let's hold his feet to the. Let's really try harder to hold his feet to the fire. No, they're like they're cutting excuses for him. They're like, he's under attack, you know, and I'm sure he's trying the best he can. And it's like, no, he put in deep state. We got to call him out, but you're not doing it. So, you know, delusional gatekeepers is what you people are, and at worst, you're letting your emotions make you fall back into the spell, and you're not seeing reality. So I'm gonna read some more of these comments. Hey, anyone new join the chat? I just played where this guy Larry Gaiters admitted he's Q. If you want me to replay it, just type it in the chat and I'll replay it. It's only like about maybe 30 seconds long, so I'm pretty sure no one else would care if I replay it. Anyway, I'll read some more of the comments. Benedict had to partly resign as his life was threatened. Oh, what's his life? What would his life be threatened for? You know, it's like they're always covering up things. I don't know. You throw something out there to me, I'll be glad to like look into it. But or you got like a video or something that might explain that a little bit deeper. But I just thought he might have resigned because he had so much stuff coming up about him, about, you know, like pedophilia and other things he was maybe associated with, and I also wondered if there's some game plan that's hidden where it'll resurface later, like why he resigned, and that maybe there's no reason we know up front as to why he resigned, but later on, as all this like craziness unfolds, somehow he resurfaces again, and and then the reason he resigned is made more manifest. But anyway, Sandgroper Studio says Pope Benedict is still legally Pope. Yeah, they got two popes, and I don't understand how that can really even be possible. So Trump needs to elected, or all the crimes against children will. Oh, I guess you're saying Trump needs to be elected, or all the crimes against children will just go away. Look how many have been rescued. Have they really been rescued? I mean, like, I mean, are all those reports real reports? Like anymore? I don't even know what I trust coming out of news. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying sometimes I just got my doubts. I mean, this is still the same guy that put in all these deep state people, and I look at like, I mean, especially, well, we know Kavanaugh covered up the Vince Foster investigation and sabotaged it, and then Barr. I mean, when basically, I just don't see how you defend FBI agents for free and you brag about it. And you brag about getting them off the hook after they put a bullet through a woman's head who was holding a baby, and you brag about getting them off the hook. Like Barr to me is a real sick individual. I don't know how Trump nominated him, and I don't even know how Trump had someone like Chris Christie as part of his campaign for any length of time. Like, Chris Christie, like, I think that is just one horrible human being. And I mean, just some of the stuff he's for, like, I don't know, like, when someone's like so heartless as to vote against giving pigs enough space to be able to turn in a cage and you vote against it, you're like, no, I don't think we got to give pigs any room to move inside of a cage. And you're going to like have an animal's complete existence be misery where they can't even move inside of a cage. I mean, like that Chris Christie is like the biggest. I can't even really comment on Chris Christie because you know what? I'm trying to keep my show a Christian show, and I think I would actually start cussing, man, if I started getting into Chris Christie. Like, I just think that individual is disgusting. Like I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I hate Chris Christie, and Trump should have never even had it. Trump almost lost my vote the first time around when he even let Chris Christie have anything to do with this campaign. But I still voted for him because I heard he was put back out of it. But I don't know, man. But now I like see this bar and count on him, and it's like I don't know. That stuff just bothers me. Anyway, how else would you take these people down? It has to be on the inside, or you have nothing. No, I agree. Well, you got to take these people down, but you can't expect these deep staters to take them down. You know, the whole thing was, it's like Trump was supposed to be the man to take it down and go after the deep state, but I haven't seen Trump do anything to get rid of the deep state. All he's done is appointed deep state. I mean, look at Gina Haspel. The woman tortured Muslims into confessing for things they didn't even do. And that's why she, when they were asking her, hey, before we appoint you this time, do you think torture works? Because that's one of the things the Democrats were hammering on. And she's like, no, I don't think torture works. Well, why don't you think torture works, Gina Haspel? Let's really get deep in it. Oh, because you tortured people and you found out they gave you false information. It's like she's a real horrible woman, and that's another horrible person, Trump. So it's like, how do you fight that? I mean, how do you fight the deep state if you're going to put deep state in there? In fact, I mean, these guys, if they could have just done their job the first time, Barr and Kavanaugh, Clinton would be in jail, Bush would be in jail, there would be no deep state. All you had to do was do your job the first time. So these people who didn't do their job the first time, you're going to appoint them the second time. And you know what? I actually think Trump was in on getting Flynn thrown in jail. Like, I think that was partly Trump's fault too. And I think Trump's making it look like an accident, making it look like, oh, look what the deep state, got Flynn to step into. I actually think Trump was in on that. I mean, and I think Flynn was like the only honest person Trump had anything to do with. And I was really shocked. Obama appointed Flynn, and then I was really like, it was really weird watching the Democrats go after Flynn, a guy Obama appointed. But you know what? I think is that Flynn was actually like somewhat honest, and then the whole thing was Trump worked with the Democrats to get Flynn in trouble, and they made it look like some kind of accident, like the deep state did it, and Trump didn't have any part of it. And they're going after Flynn just because he's associated with Trump, but I think Trump had something to do with it to setting him up. Let's see here. Your Sandgroper Studio says, because of the apostolic letter he was about to announce to the world, 2013, they uploaded it and was going to go live, but Francis got rid of three of those that documented it. Francis had every right to fear for his life. Okay. I read this person. I kind of skipped over his comment. Sorry. Emerson Reddy says, kind of wild. If Biden stays in, the Great Reset will roll after the next Davos conference. Man, I think that Great Reset's rolling no matter what. I don't see nothing stopping it. I mean, and let's face it, Trump kicked it off. Like, dude, Trump, just end the the national emergency. Make Biden reinstate it. I mean, basically, Trump did lose votes. I mean, believe it or not, people, there was people that didn't vote for Trump this time because they're like, well, hey, man, the dude keeps letting this lockdown go on. He keeps letting this national emergency go on. You want to get rid of this national emergency? Get rid of. I mean, if you want these governors to end the lockdown and reopen and all this other stuff, like Trump keeps claiming, don't give them a leg to stand on in the national emergency. But all these Democrat governors and all these, but it's also the Republican governors, dude, you're giving them a leg to stand on by not ending the national emergency in the national emergency. And also, you misspent $6.2 trillion on the flu. Like, dude, there's a real cheap treatment. And I think it would cost under $1 billion to give it to every American, and that's hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and azithromycin. You give them those three things, you're going to reduce, even in high risk, it's proven, high risk patients, almost all near their 60s, you can reduce hospitalizations down to 3%. And you can nearly avoid deaths as long as you make it early COVID treatment. But you don't see Trump pounding anything about, hey, I want the FDA to right now make this protocol for early COVID treatment. You don't see Trump pounding his fist down about that. You don't see Trump shouting about that. In fact, what person in the House or Senate's even doing this? I mean, like that specific protocol I just mentioned has been well documented to work. There's studies. There's really good studies on it. You can at least pound that one and say, hey, until we get a vaccine, can we at least make this an early treatment protocol? It's pretty safe. It's pretty effective. And it's been proven. Why can't we make this an early COVID treatment protocol? This is almost unheard of, like in the history, to treat a disease this way. And you don't see Trump speaking out about it. You don't see any senator, House of Representatives, congressman speaking out about it. And then it's like me here. I want to show something. Like I did post something to my Indiana Board of Health or Indiana Health Department, and I'll took pictures of it, but let's see here. You know what? Before I do that, I'll read some of these comments in my chat. You said, okay, so you say Benedict's very sorry. He had every right to fear for his life. Yes, all very real, mate. Yah's number one priority is rescuing the children. Okay, I know that's in a response to my comment about, hey, is any of this real, that these kids are really being rescued, and are these just made up stories in the newspaper and just generated stories? You know, I mean, like, I still don't know. I mean, you might think it's real. I just have a hard time trusting Trump when I see these people he's nominating. And plus, why are you only nominating Catholics when the Catholic Church is like one of the biggest pedophilia organizations in the world and the most corrupt church? But yet you're gonna nominate nothing but Catholics to office, like 3 Catholics on the Supreme Court. Attorney General's Catholic. Shoot. I thought Haspel was. I got to recheck that, man, because it's been a while. But it's like I almost could have swore that he put in almost nothing but Catholics. I think Flynn was like the only like non-Catholic person off the top of my head I can associate in that. And Sessions. I know Sessions wasn't Catholic, ecumenical, which is almost bad enough. But not outright Catholic, but plus, you know what? I really believe the Catholic Church has a lot to do with all those children being trafficked, and that all that trafficking going on south of the border too. Like, I think they got a hand in all that, but so you're saying, yeah, you're saying it is real, but it won't be shown by the media. Why would they? Their arses are owned by them. We have to get rid of the Rothschild system of money, about hundreds of dollars. So there will be a reset, one way or the other. Rothschilds moved to China, by the way. He really can if he knows it. It is all bull. Why would you waste your energy on it? R.E. Trump. And Bjorn, someone else, says Biden, Chris, referring to me, I guess. Okay, so Biden is gone after China and Russia and the Middle East. The world is going to burn. I view President Trump was a Neville Chamberlain to Hitler, Trump to Putin. Not understanding really what you're saying there. Sorry. Stan Groper saying no, yeah, has been in contact with Trump for a few years now. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it, because if God was in contact with Trump, God would say, Trump, don't appoint people from the great whore, the Catholic Church. Don't do it. And if Trump was listening, he would not appoint those people. I really have a hard time believing that God's talking to Trump and Trump's appointing people from the church that the Bible calls the great whore. And I don't think he'd be appointing like harlots, people from harlot churches either. But I mean, definitely not the great whore. No, I mean, like the whole history is the Vatican. I mean, the Monroe Doctrine was written because of the Vatican. Abraham Lincoln's brains were blown out because of the Vatican. You don't appoint the church that blew Abraham Lincoln's brains out. And Abraham Lincoln was basically, the gold standard of the Republican Party, and they blew his brains out. And that's all evidence documented in Thomas Harris's book, Rome's Responsibility for the Assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Thomas Harris was a brigadier general that oversaw the trial of the co-conspirators behind the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. So, and I don't know why you would appoint nothing but Catholics, since the Vatican's the one that blew Abraham Lincoln's brains out, and Abraham Lincoln's kind of like the highest person ever in the Republican Party. So, well, I haven't looked at your channel in a while, Stan Groper. I'll say that. I haven't looked in a while. And you're saying Yah will sort them out, the most rejected man ever. Who, Trump? Trump's got it coming, though. I mean, dude, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm a Protestant. Do you want me to vote for you or not? Do you want other, Trump? If you know what, if this was organic and you're like a real person that cares about winning office, you know what you do? You got to. I can understand you nominating maybe one Catholic, which I still would hate. But I could go, okay, you're going to nominate one Catholic, and maybe you nominate someone like Amy Coney Barrett, who doesn't have that kind of track record that maybe someone like Kavanaugh's got. where you sabotaged events, foster case, you supported NSA spying, you're for global warming, like you're saying, like, oh my gosh, we got to do something about global warming. Like Kavanaugh was on record of freaking out about global warming, and you appoint him, and then he rules, for in favor of Planned Parenthood and all this other stuff. So you appoint Kavanaugh. No, it's like if you really want people's votes, you got to like because I even know Democrats that were sitting on the fence until Amy Coney Barrett, and then they decided to go ahead and vote for Putin. But I mean, not Putin, Biden. Sorry, my fault. Biden. They decided to vote for Biden because they were like, that looks weird that he keeps putting in all these Catholics. Now, but they kind of think me, talking about the Vatican, role in America, they still think that's kind of conspiratorial. But even them calling me a conspiracy nut, that they even was like, wow, he put another Catholic. I don't really like that. They felt like that was weird, and they decided to vote for Biden, which is stupid. Biden's a Catholic. I mean, it's like, but whatever, but yeah, I mean, I don't get that, but but even that bothered him, like, but I mean, it's like there's other people that like it starts bothering. Then you got all these independents who would normally like go and vote, but vote third party almost every single time, and they voted for Trump last time, and they're like, well, I'm not voting for him this time, and they do cite the fact that he locked the nation down. They do blame him for a lot of the mess America's in, and I don't see how you realistically can't. He's the one who signed the checks. He's the one who signed, who signs, declares the National Emergency Act. How can you not blame him? So, anyway, Bjorn says war is coming with Biden administration, the Catholic versus Putin, the Oxford Church for the Middle East region, Syria. I think you mean like Orthodox Church. I don't know. Maybe you do mean Oxford. I'm thinking you mean Orthodox. For the Middle East region, Syria. I could see that. I could see a war coming. Trying to. I mean, it seems like I can never make out Putin though. I don't like. There's a lot he does, and it's like it looks like he's like maybe one of the sort of honest leaders in the world, and he does do a couple of things that are questionable. But I mean, I actually feel like Putin's one of the safer world leaders. But I mean, he could be all in on it too. I mean, I don't really know. I don't. But I'm just saying, but I always think it's weird that that Russia has that Russia Today, and they never ever even dare touch the Catholic Church. It seems like, but you can always hear those people that they have on there always kind of sort of pointing their finger at Israel and kind of bashing Jews. I can't think of a couple of those people they had years ago, and I got in an argument with one of them. I think I almost want to say like Ryan something. Ryan, I can't remember, man. But man, dude, I wanted to fight that dude. I think I might have said something about wanting to fight him to him, and because it was kind of easy to get a hold of him. But I just felt like that guy was a show. But I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Not really sure who you're saying who cries on live TV though. Putin cries? Maybe he has heart. Okay, Bjorn says it's Putin. Stan Groper says Putin. Putin cries. I do kind of wonder. I mean, You know, it's like Russia. They do seem like they're kind of like on the right side. Like I think like our CIA starting those illegal wars in the Middle East and um, basically helping to create the same terrorist organizations and that we're sometimes said to be fighting. And then it's so, and I think like when like it looks like to me, Russia tries to clean that crap up, you know, and is like trying to like fix some of the damage we're doing there with that the CIA is doing in the Middle East. That's what it looks like to me on the surface. I'm not super educated about that. I've never been to the Middle East. I don't know a lot of people from the Middle East, but it always looks like. But to me, just from and like I said, I'm not the most educated about the Middle East, Russia, or anything like that. Just from my like kind of half studying it and all this and um, my limited understanding, it just looks like to me that Russia's basically trying to like clean up the CIA's messes that the CIA causes, or you know, or like stop or trying to limit them. So I don't know if anyone's got some thoughts or some deeper understanding about that. You know, Middle East, Russia, but I mean that to me is just my little perspective of it all. But anyway, like I said, if anyone new's join and they want me to play that part where Bishop Gators says he's Q, just let me know. You know what? In fact, I know there's probably some new people that just joined. I'll just play that real quick and then I'm gonna jump to something else. But it's only like a 30-second part. It's right about like the 3 hour, 9 minute
3 hours,
mark.
almost 10 minutes. Thank you so much for every one of you for tuning in to Operation Q Adash. And yes, I'm going to say the 17th letter. Okay. And guess what? Bishop Larry Gaiters is Q. I ain't hiding nothing from my brothers and sisters. I am Q. I've been ordained by God to protect President Trump and to protect the first Constitution. And that is exactly what I'm going to do.
So you heard it. There we go. Sure, Stan Groper, you can share something with me. I don't mind. Oh, I see. I got some more new people. Hey, anyone want me to play that part where Bishop says he's Q? I mean, it's only a 30-second part. I don't think anyone cares if I play it again, but I'm gonna just jump to something else. You can even. I gotta start closing some of these windows. Okay, so I'm gonna just share this on screen. So I just kind of want people to see that I post this kind of stuff. I took screenshots of it where, um, you know, I post this kind of stuff to my Indiana Health Department. And I said, I have some studies showing that high risk COVID patients treated early with hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and azithromycin shows you can reduce hospitalizations to under 3% and practically avoid deaths, especially if you give that 3% what Trump took, Regeneron. And then I said, and this is what I wrote on the health department's main Facebook page, and I've tried to message them different ways, and say the same thing. But I said, but health department does not care about lives of Hoosiers, so it won't institute these sensible early treatment protocols. They're evil. And I always call them murderers too. I always as you can see, I go, the Indiana Health Department needs to be reminded they are murderers, and I always make sure to call them murderers on their own page, so everyone knows that. And I have yet to see them, and I do this publicly because I really want them to. I want other people to see this. Like they get a few thousand people visiting their page. A lot of times I'm on the first, every once in a while I'm the first comment, like that to be right there. And sometimes like there might be like 1,000 people that read something, and like barely anyone comments. My comments there for people to read them, and I do get thumbs up, and I do have people replying to the things I say, going, "Oh, this probably can't be true, can it?" And it's like, but then it's like you never see the health department reply to it. But so just some of the things. So anyway, what was it? Ari Vizio clip just shared. No, he is not. I don't even his speech and the contents. What's on your mind? Sorry. I'm kind of confused. Not really sure what you're saying there. You said may share something, but I'm not sure. I'm really sorry. Oh. Okay, so you're saying Q doesn't even talk like that, man. I know Q's supposed to be this high clearance guy, but hey, Q, will the real Q just, say something? I'd like to hear the real Q say something. I mean, this dude sounds as good as anyone as far as being Q. To me, sounds great, I mean, I don't know. All I know is this guy, Larry Gaiters, and he's getting like quite the following. Jason Goodman's got him on his show. I see him on these on regular radio shows now. He makes appearances, and he's talking about how he's got like security and got to stay safe and got to stay hidden. I don't know. I mean, see, this is the problem. And when you're some kind of little mysterious person Q, how do you know? I mean, how do we know? See, this is why I make my face available. You can see who I am. I don't hide. I'm not some mysterious personality, but this Q person, Q wants to keep on hiding and not saying who they are. I really wish I should have changed this thing to the Q, man. I bet a lot of people like to talk about Q late at night. And I'd like to take and just, yeah, I know that plan. What about that big old plan? They were even saying when the whole country was being shut down, oh, this is a plan. Trust the plan. We're going to get all these pedophiles from this plan. And I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me if they try to get rid of some of the people that you think are bad Catholics in the Catholic Church, but they'll still have the bad ones running it ultimately. I mean, that's the great whore anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do something where, we even made arrests inside the Catholic Church, and look at Trump overcoming this, and Trump overcoming this fixed election, even though Trump didn't care about all the rigged Republican primaries that everyone kept saying. Trump, will you please investigate the rigged primaries, and please investigate Massachusetts, please investigate what happened to Dr. Shiva, all right? And I've called up my senators and I called up my congressmen. You know what they do? They ignore me because basically I know what it is. Shiva ran against a Roman Catholic named O'Connor, and O'Connor is Catholic. Shiva's not. So even though Shiva had all these yard signs everywhere, all these billboards everywhere, no one could even, if everyone had to go, oh, Shiva, who are you running against? Who is your opponent anyway? They didn't even know who the other Republican was running for Senate for in that same primary. A lot of people didn't even know that, and I've gotten several reports about that. Like, didn't even know. It's like, so, but here's this guy, and he winds up winning by a landslide against Shiva. So Shiva was like, hey, can I see the ballot images? Oh, well, we got rid of those. And Shiva was like, what? You're supposed to keep those for 22 months. Well, we went and got rid of them. And Shiva said something about it on Twitter, gets his account suspended. And here's this guy running as a write-in candidate, and he's got like hundreds of thousands of followers, and he can't communicate with them because some state official in Massachusetts decided to suspend his account because Shiva said they got rid of the ballot images, and then he goes to court, and then the court reinstates his Twitter account, and it's like, but I mean, just the fact that an official contacted Twitter and got his account suspended, even though he was telling the truth, and they got no proof that he wasn't telling the truth, so they had to reinstate it. So you had, and all this rigging that's going on. No one can cry for Trump, because if Trump cared, you should have investigated all this rigging that was going on. Don't wait till the general election. Investigate it ahead of time. But then again, the rigging that's going on in Arizona, had you investigated whether there was wrongdoing going on with McCarthy versus McSally? But no, Trump was hyping up McSally, and McSally wins. But I still think it's suspicious, because McSally, a lot of people looked at her as like this establishment elitist candidate that no one liked. And McCarthy was more like this like Trump kind of guy. And that's how the people there viewed him, like more Trump-like. And yet Trump kept pushing McSally, even though people like McCarthy better. And then, yeah, I mean, people try to con their way into saying, oh, she won a fair election, but I keep wondering if that was rigged. And now Arizona is one of these states that everyone's questioning, really, is Biden really winning that state? Well, gee, maybe you should investigate to see if there was some rigging going on. At least investigate Massachusetts, but you don't care, do you? I mean, you didn't care, but now you think he's going to care when it's a general election. The only reason why he's caring now is because it's a show. Like, this is the show I've been saying that's going to go on. I've been saying for 5 months now, when people said, who's going to be Biden's VP? I said Kamala Harris. And I said the reason why is because they want to run the worst ticket possible. They don't want Democrats to vote for. They want to make sure they got the worst ticket possible. So they're trying to discourage as many Democrats to not vote as possible. That way, when Biden wins, people will go, what? There was no one even showing up to his events. No one was even enthusiastic about supporting him. So how in the world did Biden win? And then I said they were going to purposely make it obvious that they rigged it. This is the whole plan all along. And Trump's going to fight it. And there's going to be like some chaos that ensues. And I said initially, if Biden might win by a slim margin. And to me, all this is playing out exactly how I said it. And I said there'd be like videos leaked about election fraud. And sure enough, here's Project Veritas. They're starting to get all these videos of millions of hits starting to get leaked, right? And showing like, look, here's a Democrat rigging an election. I said they were going to make it obvious. I said they were going to make it very obvious it's rigged. They're going to run a very horrible ticket just to even, have people doubt the results even more. And now they're going to start releasing these videos and showing all these videos. It's getting look, guys, it's being rigged. They got a plan. They got a plan for all this chaos. and it's going exactly how I thought it was going to go. I mean, I am not surprised. This thing, I'm like, it's like I'm watching this predictable movie. It's completely predictable, and that's why I'm like ending 30-year friendships and things like that right now, because I'm being bold about it. I'm like, all this is happening exactly how I thought it would happen. I'm not surprised, and I feel like when my friends are telling people to go vote for Trump, I feel like they're being very dishonest. I mean, it's like, and really, I mean, people hate me. I think the end is near, and if you want to hate me, go ahead and hate me or be upset with me. That I honestly wonder if you're helping people to fall into a spell. I mean, those are just my thoughts. I really feel like people are some people who are kind of waking up and going, wow, things look really weird and rigged, and is Trump really fighting the deep state? And then I always feel like I got these friends that are really smart, really knowledgeable, know all about the Jesuits and all this other stuff. And it's like, yeah, but we gotta vote Trump. I'm sure he's trying to do the right thing, and it's like, I know that's those people's emotions talking, and and that's not reality. That's not the reality that's on the table. Um, but anyway, I'll just read some more comments. Forbid everything that will bring them to justice. Watch what they forbid versus media, etc. Just grab a bag of popcorn. And at one rule, if their lips are moving, they are lying. Yeah, but see, I think that's like, I don't know. I think that's Trump too. I mean, then think the worst and you may get close. Is that too? Not really sure what that means. Think the worst. You may think the worst. You may be onto it. Trump has seen. Yeah, is not BSing. Never love you. Um, he has done it, but this SHIT will F people up. They cannot disclose all the SHIT at once to the asleep, mate. Oh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but you can't also have the awake get frustrated. I mean, like I feel like I'm decently awake. I mean, like I'm pretty open minded about things. I'm like, I try to look at things from different perspectives. I'm like, well, maybe this is at play, maybe that's at play. But I mean, so and then I'm also someone that does get people. Like I talk to people, and then people come around to thinking kind of like me because I'm like pointing this out. I'm like, does this make sense or does this make sense? And then they're like, wow, man, nah, I gotta think that. So it's like, so now it's like, if I mean, if you're playing this game and where it's so deceiving that even someone like me can't figure it out, and I mean, let's face it, like I'm not like I'm definitely like like 1 out of 1,000, as far as like a wakefulness, like I think I got to be at least 1 out of 1,000 at the very least, right? And if I can't figure out, I mean, come on, it's like, and you can't play a game like that where even like people like me is like, like getting discouraged and ready to revolt. It's like it just doesn't make sense. Okay, you say I have been attacked. Yes, you are awake, mate. But what if you were not? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I'm awake and I'm not even getting like what's going on, and I can understand having like some kind of strategy, but there's still going to be like some kind of breadcrumbs of like logic, some kind of breadcrumbs of something, man, that makes sense, and I just don't even see the breadcrumbs. It's like, I mean, like everything's pointing to me like okay, we've been having the Democrat Party has been ran by the Vatican at least since about the 1940s. I think as soon as they had Lincoln's brains blown out, they started taking over the Republican Party. And I actually think they had already infiltrated it, even in the middle of the formation of the Republican Party. I think they were getting their little agents in there, getting their little spies in there, and starting to try to figure out ways of gaining control of the party. And I think around the time of like the 1900s, the beginning of the 1900s, I think they had pretty well done that. For the most part, at least at the federal level. And I think by the time they passed the Federal Reserve Act and the income tax laws, it's like I think they had basically taken over both parties. Like I think it was pretty thoroughly taken over. But the Republican Party, I don't think it was taken over at the state level as much. And I still think like there's at the state level, at the very local, smaller office level, there's still some good, honest Republicans. But like at the higher ups, like the governor level, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe that one governor in what is it, South Dakota, that one lady, she might be somewhat like honest and not fully awake. But other than her, I don't even know if there's any Republican governors at all that might even be like a decent human being. And as far as like federal representatives, I know practically none of them are. To my knowledge, none of them are. And yeah, it's basically maybe some city council representatives and maybe like your state congressman, but that's about maybe it. So I mean, I pretty much think that like it is just pretty much controlled. Let's see here. Okay, Sam Groper Studio says, "Oh my God, I am wide awake, and what is and has been happening under our noses breaks my heart, and I'm well prepared. What if I never knew such things? Most won't be able to handle." You know what I think most can't handle is just the straight up honest truth. I mean, like, I don't think most people can handle that the Republican Party has pretty much fully been taken over by the Democrat Party. Like, I don't think people can handle that truth. I don't think people can handle the truth that Donald Trump is playing a big hand in this New World Order and instituting the final steps of it. I mean, locking the nation down. Like, I mean, when I saw that happening, I knew it was going to happen. And I was trying to protest against the lockdowns. And I've played it in past videos where I went on my Facebook page and showed people where before the lockdown even started to happen, I was scared it was going to happen. And I wanted to have a protest against the lockdown before it happened because I saw where it was going to go. I saw the destruction it was going to do. And, I will play one thing that should wake people up. Because everyone keeps thinking like they're locking us down for our own good. They're trying to save us. And that all these governments are doing this for our own good. And so these are the people who have died from hunger just this year. They died of starvation. That's 7,671,877. And now 878. See, people are dying of hunger. See, 879, 880. See how fast people are dying of hunger. And you really think this world is being locked down to save us because the government cares about us? You think they wasted $6 trillion because they care? I mean, you just use a little bit of that, and you could probably save most of these people's lives. And even the people who died of corona, or died of, maybe it wasn't even corona, like, because I know some people think corona doesn't even exist, but they died of something. Maybe it was the flu, the common cold, right? If you know what, if you give people proper nutrition, most of these diseases they die from, even if especially like the common cold and things like that, and flu and corona, they wouldn't die if you just gave them proper nutrition and food. Because think about that. What's the first things they try to give some of these people as a prophylactic? Zinc, vitamin D. They say high doses of vitamin D alone. Most people are vitamin D deficient. There's a COVID study shows that if you give people high doses of vitamin D, almost no one, when it's coupled with some of these other medicines like hydroxychloroquine, like you have almost no deaths. But even if you give them hydroxychloroquine and you don't give them high doses of vitamin C, high doses of vitamin D, the death rate significantly increases. Like some of these studies shows, like 50% of the people of these like patients had to have hospitalization when they had hydroxychloroquine, but they didn't have high doses of vitamin D. And so you got to think, maybe had we just spent this on trying to get people proper nutrition and food, maybe they don't die. And if you go, okay, this corona's a hoax, there's no coronavirus, period. They died of something, right? And so let's say they died of regular flu. Well, guess what? When you give people proper food and nutrition, they don't die of these regular diseases. A lot of these diseases they're dying of, they wouldn't be dying of. You get rid of GMOs. You get rid of what's that chemical, glyphosate, that they put in that Roundup Ready or whatever that they spray all over these crops that cause all kinds of like vitamin. They actually help cause vitamin deficiencies and things like that and health problems. So you just let's start, giving people organic food, proper nutrition, proper food. I bet not only do you save 7,671,932 people from dying of starvation, but a lot of these other diseases that they're dying from, they don't die from them. You're saving lots of lives. So when people say, "Oh man, my government's making me wear a mask and and giving me a lockdown to try to save us," no. And they're just wasting a bunch of money. They don't care about you, and Trump doesn't care about you. Like, I mean, it's like that's so obvious to me. You misspent trillions of dollars. Easily save it. Like, I was kind of like, you just stand on a street corner 2 days ago for Guy Fawkes Day. And I said, I was kind of like yelled out to people. I said, you think your government cares about you? And I said, there's over 7 million people or 8 million people that die of hunger every year. And you think your government's locking you down because they love you, when they could just use a fraction of that money to feed you and stop that many people from dying. They just feed you properly. You don't have most of those diseases you got. Most of those diseases are the result of improper nutrition, improper diet, and not having the right foods. And a lot of people, like, they just can't afford to eat organic. I've had a lot of people tell me, "Hey, I just can't even afford to eat organic. I have to eat this like toxic food. That's all I can afford." And it's really sad. And they're forced into it. So I know a lot of families, it's like, well, I'll at least, sacrifice and make sure my kids get organics. But I'm sitting here eating like all this processed stuff because it's cheaper, because I want to be able to afford to give my kids organic food, because I'm, worried about my children. So let me just kind of read the comments. Not really sure when you say, like, I'm not even sure what you mean by that, because they say he didn't warn people of a BS load of dung, beetle, SHIT. He knew exactly what it was. They made it all. They grow viruses in eggs or pigs or bats or whatever to make a vaccine. Human to human relies on blood type. So how does that SHIT work? Someone explain. It's cheaper to kill us all than us all taking their arses to court worldwide. Yeah. As far as like as far as the vaccines, I don't know if people realize this. I did say it in a video, but I realize people don't watch some of my older videos. But some of the ones that aren't live streams, I made this one where I said my thoughts about like Corona and all this, and I kind of went over like the whole like kind of like the year in review of all my thoughts and things I studied. And one of the things I mentioned was, actually, maybe I didn't mention that in that video. I might have not mentioned this yet, but I did these like studies where I was like reading all these research papers, and I found out that there's like these like there's this one research article, and no one probably reads it because I don't think it ever got like printed in press or nothing. It's just like in medical magazines or medical journals. But was talking about how there's pig virus found in a vaccine. And the thing was, it's like they made the vaccine from pig tissue. And I guess, pigs are one of the most filthiest animals on earth. You shouldn't eat them because even if you cook them, they still got parasites in them. They still got viruses and like they got over like 200 pathogens that could possibly be in them, and you can't cook them all out. Like I've read a lot of things about how you can't cook this out. The only way you can eat like even begin to eat pig meat, I think you got to do something to ferment it, and then you got to cook it a certain way just to kill everything in it. And so you got to think, you got to do all that just to eat it. And you're going to shoot something in you made from pig tissue, like a vaccine that's got any kind of pig tissue in it whatsoever. And you're going to shoot that in you. And surprise, surprise, some of these vaccines that they were making using pig tissue have other pig viruses in it. So yeah, you got a vaccine, but you also accidentally got like a couple of pig viruses in you. But they said, hey, don't worry, they're harmless. But how do you know? Because I heard that there's this one study that said some of this what's that, like they wonder if some of this like rheumatoid arthritis is not actually rheumatoid arthritis. It's actually something else. It's the result of one of these pathogens from pigs. They're like wondering if some of these other health issues that they're blaming on one thing is actually the result of another thing from eating pig, eating pork. So, so it's like you don't really want to eat pig. And it's basically my main point. And you definitely don't want to shoot pig into your bloodstream. Let's see here. Bjorn Smith says they recently invented cockroaches milk to keep of real milk cows expensive to buy. I guess you mean to keep the price of cockroach milk somehow affects the price of real cow's milk and makes cow's milk more expensive. I guess like a rarity or something. It makes it more rare. I don't really would understand how that would make cow's milk more expensive to buy. And I don't know. Kind of like, you know, a lot of my viewers are like from other countries. So anyone who's listening, like, understand, like, these aren't like dumb Americans. These are like pretty smart people. Actually, they're just like sometimes like I don't know if some things kind of get a little lost in translation and so. But I'm not really that one. I don't understand what he's really meaning. Sam Grupper says we don't even take human to human blood irregularities. Okay, so Sam Grupper says because cow's milk heals us and can be a source of food with antioxidants. But and you say LOL, so you don't really believe that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because it's like I know vegans tell me cow's milk's horrible for you, so I don't know. I mean, is that kind of what you think too? Am I understanding you correctly? I don't know. I know I'm not gonna. I'm kind of like Old Testament as far as what I eat, and I don't even eat animals, like, because I just don't like to hurt animals. And me personally, I don't do it because like I think like it's evil or anything. I do think a lot of animals though are inhumanely slaughtered. They grow up in cruel conditions, and I don't want to support the meat industry just because they're so cruel to animals. So that's one reason why I don't eat meat. But another reason is, you know, in the Bible, when God first created the earth, I believe, from my understanding, that we were not given animals to eat until after the flood. And I think before it, we were vegetarians. And I think that had mankind not sinned, we would have remained vegetarians, because I actually think the death and suffering for animals and human is all a result of mankind's sin against God. So, so I personally won't eat an animal for that reason, and it's kind of like a prayerful thing for me. I don't want to eat an animal just because for me, maybe it's kind of like a fasting thing. And it's kind of like, hey, God, I want things to return to the way they were before we sinned against you. It's kind of like a little, like just kind of like a little prayerful thing. Is kind of the reason why I don't knock people who eat meat. Especially if it's like the Old Testament animals that you were given to eat. I'm not going to knock you if you eat fish. I'm not going to knock you and say it's wrong. But just me personally, I don't want to eat meat just because it's just my personal like little way of trying to pray to God that, hey, God, I wish things would go back to normal, to the way they were before we sinned against you. And that's kind of it for me. But so Christ Lift, who actually, I know she studies nutrition and everything. it says milk is so not good for you. So she says milk is not good for you, and I wouldn't really doubt that. Sandgroper says stay away from fake butter, margarine, oils, etc. They coat your cells like plastic type coating. I really wouldn't doubt that. And Chrysler says Genesis 1, chapter 1, verses 29 through 30. We were vegans in Eden. Yeah, I believe that. Oh, yeah, you agree with what I just said. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Oh. That's probably why we kind of like had that kind of like natural get along. Like I always felt like we kind of just like naturally got along. I wasn't really sure, you know. So it's probably like we kind of had that understanding, but we didn't know we had that understanding. So. Okay, so Sandgroper says, my stove is so much easier to clean. I can totally see why they are all bad for us. No animals for slaughter. Essene way of life as Christ was. Bjorn says, I respect your lifestyle, and yes, Adam and Eve were enjoying fruit and vegetables. Sandgroper says it is good for children that don't get enough, and yes, my stove is 10 times easier to clean. It wipes clean. That's interesting. I never even paid attention to that. Have to kind of start. Well, I don't even know how I can pay attention to that now, because it's like we pretty much eat like vegetarians and vegans. We eat a little bit of cheese. I try to make sure like that's. I don't know. Some people think there is no humane way of getting cows or goats milk. I don't know. I mean, I'm not understanding enough in, but it's like if it says family farm, organic, grass fed, and it's cheese, I'll go ahead and buy it and eat it. But I mean, you know, if someone knocks me for doing that, it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, you're wrong, or I feel better. Please don't tell me that. I don't mind like people cluing me in, you know, or sharing like a thought, but. Okay, so you're saying all oils heated are bad for us. You know, I agree with that because I think they could become like carcinogenic or something. I especially don't want like those virgin olive oils. Like I don't like when people try to heat those up and cook with those. I'm like, what are you doing? Like I think those are really bad when you heat them up. Raw is good for dressings. I agree. The babies are much harder and brutal that that U.S. milker. The babies are. I don't know what that means. Christ the Lift says eating animals and animal products creates an acidic byproduct that eats away at, distorts our cells, DNA, and enzymes. You know what? I mean, that could be true. I mean, I bet you, especially eating all of those animals that God says are unclean, just from that, the few studies I read about pigs and what eating a pig can do to a person. I mean, I do wonder, you know, it's like you eat these like you know, God says don't be eating animals like that don't have scales and things like that. And you got these people eating these fish that don't have scales, and you know they can't. And like, I mean, there's part of me that's like maybe there is something to all these like viruses that come out of Wuhan. You know, it's like, yeah, I know you built this laboratory there, but you also got these people that always eat these freaky things around there that God tells you shouldn't be eating in the first place. and maybe they noticed these people catching all these diseases. They were like, hey, why don't we make it convenient for ourselves and we'll put a lab there that studies this. Well, that way, when all these people who are catching these weird diseases, we can have them go to the clinic that's real convenient because it's right next to the Wuhan wet market. So I mean, there's part of me that thinks there might be something to like that wet market being next to there. Like, I don't think like it might not necessarily be the government. Every time a virus is like a deadly virus goes out around Wuhan, that's because that lab released it. Like, I sometimes wonder, is it because you're sitting there eating like these pathetic little pangolins and things like that, these little innocent creatures you have no business eating? Because you look at those pangolins, man, like they're super sweet little animals, man. Like, I mean, it's really disturbing how people treat those animals. And they go eat them too. And I kind of want, think, man, you get some virus from eating those animals, man. I think you kind of got it coming to you. Like, they seem to have like a certain intelligence that just leave them alone. But anyway, which ages people faster and makes people way more susceptible to all illnesses and diseases. And she's referring to eating animals, and I agree. I mean, just from like the little studies I've seen, and just like people go, hey Chris, you're 46, you sure don't look it, and I still sprint around with my kids, and there's other people, man, in their late 20s and 30s, and it's like, dude, aren't you gonna exert any energy playing with your kids? And I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. It's like, dude, I worked laborious jobs, working 60 hours a week, and I mean, and I know I don't sleep enough. I can feel the effects of it, and I still, can go and sprint around with my kids, run at full speed, and it's like, and I mean, here I am. I mean, I am pretty much a vegetarian, almost a vegan, and here these other people are. It's like, oh man, if you don't eat meat, you're gonna be weak. And all those people telling me that, it's like, well, dude, I still feel like I can fight like a world champion boxer. Like, I feel like if I got the privilege of fighting now I weigh about 130 pounds right now. So if I was to box again, I'd probably fight in the 126 pound weight class. I still felt like I could fight a guy, a top 50 opponent, and be able to hang with him, if not beat him. And I'm 46 years old, and I'm a vegetarian, and so I just think just give me about 8 months to train, and that's all I need. But so it's like, but yeah, here's these people eating meat and bashing me, and it's like, yeah, they act like they're decrepit. They don't play with their kids, and I never ever see them run around or sprint around. I mean, and there might be some people out there doing it, but it's just like me, I don't see them do it. So you say not milking them is cruelty and pain. Yeah, about the cows. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Christ love says, yeah, pigs can't sweat, so all their toxins remain in their flesh. Oh, that's a good point too. I mean, that's one thing I did. I used to do, man, was like work out for hours and dance, and man, really like sweat a lot. And I don't know, maybe that's another reason why I'm young too. It's like, I mean, yeah, I don't have much toxins in my body, maybe, and maybe that's why those pigs are so disgusting and filthy. Have any of you had the feeling of your breast exploding? I know I haven't, but God doesn't like the slaughter. Sam Groper, we can eat fish and any bird that cannot fly on two legs. Veganism reverses aging and even can reverse illnesses and diseases as well. That's what Christ Lift says. And yeah, I believe that. So I mean, you look pretty good, you know. So and you're a vegan, right? So I don't know how old you are, but I mean, I think you look pretty decent. So well, 38. Okay, yeah. So you look very decent. You know, yeah. And you look much better than a lot of. I don't know, man. There's a lot of girls, man. I hit 28, man. They look horrible. I'm like, man, really? You're 28? Are you kidding me? Okay, so Sandgripper says, very not often, only small portions. God didn't let them fly for a reason. Bjorn Smith says the Denmark government is planned to kill 7 million minks because of COVID-19 hoax. This is animal sacrifice. I guess you mean animals sacrifice. Sacrifice at worst, like sacrifice at worst. Um, yeah, I did read about minks getting COVID. I'm surprised they haven't started killing cats. Cats got corona. They tested cats and cats got the coronavirus. So you're gonna start killing all the cats? Um, okay, sacrificing minks. So you kind of clarified it. So yeah, I read about minks and cats, and it's like, okay, and here's another thing: you're gonna start killing cats that way because cats won't wear a mask, will they? You can't keep a mask on a cat or a mink. Let's go test everything else and see what else has got COVID. Oh, that's good. That can get COVID too. Well, we can't keep a mask on it. Might as well kill it, right? See, I mean, that just tells you how ridiculous this whole thing gets. Um, Sam Gripper, you say, how about 7 million Zionists? Don't really know what you mean by that. I'm just kind of scrolling down through here. Sam Gripper says cats have AIDS too. Well, they might. I mean, you run that PCR test. I guess you set it to see if they got AIDS. You run it to 60 cycles, and they're bound to have it. I mean, I don't even know how they test for this. I don't really quite understand all these like tests they do because how do you run? I mean, like you run a one cycle, you don't have it. You run it 10 cycles, you don't have it. You hit 30 cycles, you start having it. And 50% of the time, when you test for a disease, you're on a PCR test to 60, everybody's got it 100% of the time, whatever disease you're looking for, it seems like. I don't know, whoever invented that PCR test, I think Mullins or someone like that, died right before this whole COVID thing broke out, and he was on video saying those PCR tests shouldn't even be used to detect COVID or diagnose it. Bjorn says, there you go, ban pets. Sangreffer says, because cats can warn you of evil. Well, see, there you go. You make sure that they're detected of COVID, get rid of them, and that's how you get the New World Order, because you got rid of all the cats. Then you couldn't meow about like when the New World Order is coming. Christ lives says God doesn't like the murder of any sentient life, of any entities with feelings and emotions. Thou shalt not kill. Maybe thou shalt not kill does go that deep. No, I mean, to be honest, I never thought about it whenever someone always taught it to me when I was a little kid. They meant, well, that means don't kill humans, because I said, well, shouldn't not step on that bug and this. And they're like, oh, no, that you can only kill humans. Like, whenever you kill anything else, it doesn't count, so that's not really kill. So, but now that you say that, and now I'm a little older, I don't know, maybe you're right. I didn't even think about that. I mean, one thing I know is I don't really think God does like to kill. Does like things killed. I mean, I don't think he likes hearing anything scream in pain and it's kind of sad. I don't think he created that. He didn't create it that way. He didn't create the world that way to begin with. So why would he like it now? Because, I mean, if anything, the fact that it's screaming, and if you didn't create the world that way, and if now you hear animals screaming, it only reminds you that, yep, the world's still falling, and who would want to hear about that? And then Sam Gripper says, no, it is not. It is the slaughter he doesn't like. Cows with very sore breasts wouldn't wish pain upon them, and chickens have always been okay, but only to survive. Like I said, I'm not knocking anyone, man. Like God did say after the flood, like these are the animals you can eat. Like I said, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm just trying to not do it. I'm trying to stay away from animals until Christ comes. It's kind of like just my little prayer about wanting things to go back to the way they used to be. So, but I mean, I'm not one that tries to make anyone feel bad about that. But I mean, pigs, I will say something to someone about pigs. I mean, because, man, I've watched these videos, man, especially like this one woman, she had a pet pig and it acted just like a dog. I mean, you wouldn't kill a dog. And yet you just feel absolutely nothing about sitting there chomping on bacon, even though that's not an animal approved by the Bible. But then these people go, well, God gave us everything to eat. Okay, so let's carve up a dog. No, that's a horrible thing. That's a pet. Or carve up a cat. Well, I mean, watch a pet pig. This thing's full of viruses. You shouldn't be eating it anyway. It's a super intelligent animal, and it acts just like a dog, but yet it's more filthier. But I mean, it looks just as smart as a dog, but you don't have any problem eating that pig, but got problems eating that dog. I mean, I don't know. That one escapes me. So you're saying he gave us to keep alive, probably mean those animals. No slaughterhouses. And never an animal of their sacrifice. So that was all from Sandgroper Studios. I was reading, and now Chrysliff says Genesis 1:29. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. Yeah, didn't see nothing else in there. Just they're just the plants and trees with fruits and seeds in it. And every tree that has fruit with seed in it. And it makes you wonder. Okay, here's one for you. How many do those GMO crops have seeds in them? Aren't some of those seedless? So I mean, those are the ones without seed, and you probably should be staying away from, right? I don't know. Should you be eating any seedless fruit? I mean, like now that I'm thinking about it, it says, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food." So if it's a tree that's got fruit that doesn't have seeds in it, I mean, should you be eating it? Because they do have some of those fruits out there that where they do hybrid them and stuff like that to make them to where they don't have seeds, and some of them are genetically altered. So I just wondered, maybe shouldn't be eating those. Sam Grupper said he has said chicken and fish is okay, but mainly fruit and vegetables, nuts and grain. Well, yeah, he said chicken and fish, but that was also said after the flood. So, and Christ's lift was basically referring to, before the flood. So, Christ's lift says, Genesis 1:30, and to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, and everything that has the breath of life in it, I give you every green plant for food, and it was so. So I guess all the animals, they didn't kill other animals either. See, that's another thing that some of these people that there's a lot of people that don't realize that the whole earth was vegetarians. Like all these animals that you call carnivores, according to the Bible, from my understanding, they ate plants also. And Chrysler says God created all creation not to eat flesh. And yes, I 100% agree with that. No, you know what? One thing I want to say is I'm really glad you're bringing up all these like Bible verses in this topic, because I did want to have something biblical to talk about on whenever I do these shows, because the only time I really can set aside to do a show is on the Sabbath. So it's nice that I'm actually having Sabbath sort of conversations and biblical conversations on the Sabbath, because I don't want it to just be all politics and stuff and not touch on the Bible anymore. So I did want to say I'm very appreciative that people are even bringing these topics up. So you're saying, I don't know what you're saying. They have no nutrition. Sand groper. Chrysler says that was Eden. If they had, Chrysler says, if they have no nutrition, then why did God create it that way initially? Sandgroper said they try to stop us growing our own food, and why GMO is introduced is for control. Hunting is not okay. I actually think, I don't know, it depends on what you're hunting. Farming's always disturbing to me. It's like you got these chickens and they're fenced in and you grow them for food, and it just always kind of like I always felt uneasy about that. I was always like, man, if I was gonna eat meat, I'd kind of like my prey to have a fair chance. I don't know. I mean, or some sort of chance. I wouldn't say fair, but some sort of chance, instead of like kind of like being like a duck in a barrel because it's in my fenced-in yard. I don't know. But I don't have much of a problem hunting. I mean, even when you fish, you're kind of hunting, right? It's like I didn't grow it in this little swimming pool where they can't really hide or run away, and I can just cut off the food supply for a moment, and then they get real hungry, and I can cast a pole out into my little pond and pick a fish out of it, and because it's hungry, or put a big old net where it can't run away and just grab one up. Like I kind of like the idea of at least like hunting and giving the animal a chance. And then it's kind of like, well, It was delivered into my presence. I'm hungry. Here's this animal I found. I got it. I caught it, and I'm gonna eat it. And then, but it was running around in this whole big old forest. It could have ran anywhere. It just happened to run in front of me, or close to me, or in my presence, and I went and hunted it. And so, I mean, to me, it's like hunting's not as bad. I don't like farming animals. Farming animals is just it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it just like it bothers me. It always kind of disturbed me a little bit, but just my little thought. And Chrysler says all the earth was vegan, and I would 100% agree with that. Until the flood, all the earth was definitely vegan. From just a simple reading of the Bible. Chrysler says this is a big purpose God has sent me out to do. Oh, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, because it's like some things, they need to be talked about, and people neglect it. Bjorn, sorry, I'm kind of like a little late trying to catch up with all the comments. Bjorn Smith says GMO plant interfere with nature bearing plant. GMO kill the reproductive plant in the ground. Yeah. Sandgroper Studio says Christ left a gift for you. I'm not really sure what. I'm just kind of reading the comments. Chrysler says, oh, yeah, GMO is crap for nutrition. I would definitely agree. I think some of that is probably like stuff I was commenting on a while ago, and everyone's kind of commenting on that too. So, Sandgroper Studios says, I am talking about GMO. Anyway, Chrysler says, that makes a lot more sense. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Okay, so I guess a little misunderstanding in the chat was going on. So, okay, so I'm kind of late reading these comments. You're probably commenting on some things I say now. I'm reading them kind of late, and it might be a little confusing. So I'm just kind of gonna, I'm just kind of like looking through them. I'll post the comments on the screen as I'm looking through them, but yeah, I'm not really sure what you're meaning. What as far as these like comments going on the screen. I'm not arguing with the King of Judah. Not my words. Sorry, Sam Groper said that, but I am merely standing right next to him. And then Chrysler says, the thing is, our bodies, our spirit, and our world do better without meat animal products. And I mean, tend to agree, and Sandgroper says sigh. And Sandgroper says, and use been able to grow our own. I'm guessing you mean like how they're making farming illegal or something. I'm not really sure what you mean. Like you're saying you used to be able to grow your own. I know like a lot of countries are starting to make it harder to grow your own crops. I know when I was a kid, I never heard of like a homeowners association. I don't know what you got like in Australia and these other countries, but like in the U.S., we got this thing called homeowners association, and it's like this association within your neighborhood that dictates what you can do on your own property. And when I was growing up, like these things did not exist to my knowledge. And like I'm 46 years old, so I was born in 1974. And I don't remember like when I grew up in the late 70s and 80s hearing about like oh, I had a garden in my front lawn and I got in trouble. Like, I never heard that stuff, but now, like, it's starting in like the 90s. It started having these things called homeowners associations popping up, and people were going, hey, I just got in trouble for planting a garden in my front lawn, you know? And then it's like, and I guess it's like getting tougher to have like a little garden and things on your own property. So yeah, I guess you were referring to like them starting to restrict what you can do on your own property. So I don't know. I think we pretty much explored that topic pretty well. I don't know. Anyone want to throw anything else out there, or because I'm kind of like I don't know, at a loss for what to talk about next. Christ Lift says, the wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. Yeah, basically saying we're going to be vegetarians and vegans in heaven. So everything's going to go back to the way it was back in Genesis before the flood, before sin. And yeah, I mean, you know what? There was this part of me, once I realized all this, that it kind of like, because when I was just becoming a new vegetarian, I was fine not eating meat. And then when I was kind of like, would smell my mom cook a roast, and I was like, man, that sounds good, but I'm just going to steer away from it. And then I read that and I was like, wow, maybe I ought to eat some roast now. It made me like kind of desire it, because I was like, oh man, I'll never be able to eat that ever again in heaven. But, I never caved in. Chrysler says a little child would lead them because a little child has the mind of innocence, a mind that doesn't even think to kill. It's that consciousness that will shift humanity. Well, yeah, oh man, I can't even think of that verse where Jesus says, something about like a little child. You gotta be like a little child to come to him, or something like that, or lest you be like one of these children. Oh gosh, man, like I'm really getting foggy about the Bible verses. I could even remember where that verse was. I just read it, but I kind of think about that verse, kind of like Biden, trying to remember Bible verses. And Chrysler says, by shifting humanity, it will shift the consciousness of all of creation. Yeah, maybe, because it's like, didn't it seem like when we sin, like the rest of like creation kind of changed too, so you might have a point there. Chrysler said, and he said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Well, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. So that goes back to that complements that Isaiah 11:6. The wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, and the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. Sandgroper Studios says, "You must look at him as a small child and you will see him." 3:12. No. Sandgroper says, "You must throw all what you have been taught away and watch as an innocent." Well, yeah, you definitely need to try to like look at everything in like more of an innocent fashion. And yeah, because a lot of things you get taught corruption, you get taught a lot of corrupt things, and you gotta kind of learn how to like, I don't know, look at things with fresh eyes, childlike eyes, so you can see them correctly. Well, I mean, the world does give you a lot of like deceiving ideals and thoughts, and kind of get you to look at things in a bent way to start it, to start it off anyway. Yeah, Chrysler says, however, don't get to the point where they take advantage of that innocence. Yeah. Which I actually have been like that a little bit. Because I really try to give people like so much of the benefit of the doubt and try to look at things like that. And yeah, I mean, I've learned I can't totally allow myself just to fall into that. Or allow myself to fully embrace that. Because, I don't know, you just got some pretty wicked people in this world. Not like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm like totally much better, but. Say, watch the video. What video? Maybe I didn't catch what video you were saying. If there's a video on your channel or something that you want me to watch, the best thing to do is maybe just type a little bit of the title, and then like when it says like YouTube, and then it's got the watch $V =. If you I don't know how to fix this YouTube stuff to where it'll let you post links in the chat. unless I give everybody a wrench, and I'm just like, that just seems like a lot of trouble. So instead of making everybody like a mod, if you just type in like, if there's a video you want me to check out, type in, copy and paste the letters that come after that V equals, when it's got like the youtube.com/watch ? V equals, everything after that equal sign, we just paste those characters, because then I can just copy that, and then paste that into like the search, and I can find that video that way. Maybe paste the title along with it, just so I can make sure I'm watching the right thing, but at least paste those characters. No, I'm not seeing your links, and I am so sorry. Yeah, even me, as much YouTube as I watch, I did not realize when I type links how this whole thing works. I didn't realize that when I was like in the past, when I was like talking to these people and talking to these like channel operators, that they didn't see my links, and sometimes I would get mad at them. I'm like, didn't you see my comment? And I think because I typed that link and my comment, they didn't even see the comment either. So I'm thinking they're just ignoring me. And I'm thinking at least the guy doing the streams can see my comment or can see my link, but it doesn't even come out on my side. Like, I can't even see it. And I don't think YouTube, as far as I know, I think when I type those links for other people, when I go to their channels and I type a link, I see it get posted up on the screen. YouTube doesn't tell me it didn't get posted. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm posting it, and I'm sitting there getting mad at the guy doing the stream, and I didn't really figure this out until I started doing my own stream. So yeah, I'm real sorry about like I don't know. I need to probably say that right at the beginning and kind of remind people, because as I'm doing these streams, like, remind people, hey, these links aren't showing up, and yeah, just saying I'm sorry. I don't know why YouTube just can't allow that. I mean, that's like one really bad thing. Like, why can't these programs allow me to let people post whatever they want? Because I really don't care. People could advertise their channels. I don't get paranoid about this stuff. I think more than anything, they're wanting to restrict how much information people can share, since that's a real easy way to share information, is just to show a link. They won't allow you to show links. They won't allow you to share websites. If you wanted to show like pictures to a whole chat room, like let's say we were having this real deep conversation about something that you need to like see a picture, like maybe there's something going on in the solar system. You're like, yeah, hey, everybody in the chat, I'm going to post this. And someone posted in the chat and they're adding to the conversation. And everyone's got this real good back and forth going on. And it's like, someone can't post that now. Now we got to do this extra step, if we all want to go see it, so I think they want to make it harder. And I don't know. Maybe I can figure out some way to get around that someday. I just haven't figured out how to do it now. So Sam Groper Studio says how 3168 is built into creation, Lord 800, Jesus 888, Christ 1480, mirror. So I'm guessing that might be the name of the video. Oh my, these people make me so angry. Forbidding Christ. That is what pees me off, forbidding him to world that awaits him. That makes me so angry. don't. You know what? See, I'm using another program through, and it's posting all my chats. Well, I mean, it's posting. I'm basically using StreamYard to post to different YouTube channels and other hosting sites. So I don't have anything like I don't know how. Like, well, I guess I could maybe I can just climb into the YouTube. Let me see if I can try to go to YouTube Studio and then go to this live stream and because here I'll see about if I can just do it this way. There, I made you a moderator. So, and I made Christliff a moderator. So if there's any, so now I guess if you want to post something, you can post something. Or you can try, we can see. I don't know if it's going to work. So if anyone's got... Okay, yep, it worked. There you go. I just can see it now. Guess that would be the easy way to do it next time. I see a Chrysler poster site. That's cool. I did click that. So I saw. Yeah, I saw you had a kickboxing a kickboxing business or something, or do you just promote it? I'm gonna go ahead and click that link and see what you are posting.
Hey guys, what's up?
All right, so I clicked that link so I could see what your video is. All right, so oops. So I'll probably catch it later, probably sometime tomorrow. Kickbox life thing, time to thrive. That's the slogan. So okay, so it's not like is it like a kickboxing studio or gym that you're part of, or are you just like kind of like kickboxing way of life, kind of dealio going on, and you kind of like promote kickboxing, nutrition, and fitness. I was just kind of curious, like if it was like a business or just like or you're just promoting kickboxing as on a website along with all these other things. Okay, I didn't read the main page. I just gave it a quick glance. So Sam Groper says, "Good luck with the poisoning and genocide upon us all at the moment. No offense." Come on. All right. I'm not really sure what you meant, but okay. So kind of like wondering what everyone else is thinking and watching or doing. See, there's like more people watching this channel, but like I only got 2 people or 3 people commenting. If there's any, I don't know, anyone's got any kind of thoughts to throw out there, just I don't know, let me know. Any subjects? Because if not, I may just wrap this up. I mean, I think we covered some decent stuff, and okay. So Chrysler says it's just something to help people become healthier, happier, and more spiritually aware individuals. All right. All right. Well, thank you, Sam Groper. Appreciate it. Um, I mean, there were things I did want to ask people their thoughts about, but man, my mind's kind of like things are kind of like slipping. Yeah, you know what? It's 4:25 here. Actually, I do need to go to sleep. Shoot, I'm glad you said that. I wasn't even thinking. So you must have lived just a tad bit west. Yeah, well, I want to make sure I need to start going to sleep just a little bit earlier. I work nights, but so it's kind of like this is my natural staying up time. But I wanted to get up just a little bit earlier to try to start fitting in church. You know, I'm trying to. Well, right now I'm still trying to get a group of people together because I think the church I was going to. It's not that they care about this COVID stuff. It's the place that they're renting the building from. I don't think they're letting them rent a building now because they're a Sabbath keeping church, and they were renting it from a Sunday keeping church. And I think that Sunday keeping church is I'm not even sure if they're open or because of the whole COVID thing, if they're not letting their building be rented out. So, but yeah, it's time for me to go to bed. So it was great talking to you. I'm glad everyone stopped by. So yeah, it's a total opposite down in Australia. 5:25 p.m. Saturday. And Chrysler says the real church is in our hearts, validated by how we treat others. You say you gave up going to church. Yeah, I mean, see, there. I guess there's part of me because I grew up so much in a church. I feel like, is there like a responsibility for me to try to gather some people together on Sabbath and have some sort of service? And so, um, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like I feel pretty decent about. I don't know. I still think it would probably be kind of good to have that little extra togetherness and gathering. But I'm trying to find like some people that keep Sabbath that are not Seventh Day Adventists and um and I don't know, like and kind of have like kind of more of an openness about doctrine, but don't get too crazy. So and Sandgroper says, yes, I could never see him in the churches, and now I know why. especially if you're talking about Sunday churches, I really kind of feel that way. Chrysler says, I think what you're doing here is more meaningful than what I have experienced in most churches. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I hope so. I like it, but I always like wonder if someone's like sitting there going, man, you're staying up until 5 o'clock. How are you going to church the next day? And, man, is this guy like having like a real laxed church life? And so I always kind of wonder what people think. So I kind of appreciate you throwing that thought out there. But yes, I think I definitely I can already tell I need to go to sleep, and I know everyone else needs to go to sleep. So except for Sandgrover, I guess they still need to go get hyped since they got plenty of a day left. But yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep, and I appreciate everyone stopping by and sharing their thoughts, and it's kind of really nice having that conversation about like Genesis and stuff. I'm really glad you brought all that up, and hope everyone has a blessed Sabbath, and you felt my Sabbath feel a little bit more blessed. And thanks for stopping by, and later.